Hi guys, welcome back to Sports with Mono and Mono. It's July 10th, 2021, and I'm here faithfully with my partner, Steve.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Looking forward to talking sports.
Got a lot to talk about, actually. So, kind of dark and dingy on the East Coast right now, but we just went through terrible flooding situations from Hurricane Elsa. But the West Coast is baking again, in the past, and they're back at it. So. But welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And I guess I got the monologue this week, Steve, right?
You do.
So I'm going to jump right in with that. And we have touched on this individual a few weeks ago. It's kind of an end of an era monologue, and it's about Roger Federer. And I think we've kind of seen that he's going to turn 40, and it's going to be disappointing not to have this guy in. But he's 40 years old, and I think we obviously know he's good enough to get to the quarters of a major. But is he good enough or healthy enough to win? If not, I just want to say, I've said this before, he's one of the class acts, ambassador of tennis, and just, it's going to be sad to see, because we know Djokovic and Nadal, these are the guys right now, right? But there's a lot of young bucks behind them, but he has just exhibited class. And when I think about it, we're going through a similar thing on the women's side, with Serena Williams about to turn 40 and her sister still playing. It's great to see, and we love them and their history, that what it's brought to tennis. But I think it could be premature. He could come back and pull a Tiger Woods and win something, but it's going to be kind of sad to see him not out there for each and every major for the past 20 plus years, right? Came up probably when he was 19. But when I think about it in sports, like Albert Pujols, he's going out. But you know what? Roger Federer exhibited everything about sports, and I just that's my shout out and my monologue for this week. Thoughts?
Boy, you love Roger Federer.
I do. I really do.
Yeah, it's evident.
But why not? What's not to love?
I'm not saying you can't love Roger Federer.
But you don't think it's going to change? It makes a difference in the game of tennis, not seeing that marquee guy. But the torch has been passed.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's it's the end of an era, and the torch gets passed from one generation to the next.
Yep.
As far as Nadal. Yeah, I think Nadal is
on the back end of his career too.
He's on the 16th hole.
But this Djokovic, he is.
He's not going anywhere.
He's a machine
for another few years.
Yeah.
And now you have this Italian kid. First Italian's going to made the Wimbledon final in 45 years.
Serves 135 miles an hour.
Hey,
Berrettini.
Yeah, the kid's 25 years old. I think he's 6'5".
Oh my God, they're giants now, these tennis players,
right?
Aren't they?
So listen, I'm all in on this kid as far as rooting for him to pull off the Wimbledon.
But he's not.
But he's not. No, Djokovic, will win.
Yep.
But back to Federer. We've been seeing the decline probably within a year, though. Like officially within the year.
Right.
Is he going to pull a Tiger Woods and win something? No. I just think Father Time's caught up to him.
Yep.
I think he knows it. And
but the reason I brought it up, Steve, because when I think of somebody like that who's an ambassador and a face of a particular sport and handles himself, I think of like Barry Sanders, who retired at the top of his career. Jim Brown, right?
Yeah.
Barry Sanders, how classy was that? It's in the same vein. That's my point.
That's fine, because I feel the same way about Roger Federer. He's just a classy athlete and did it all right, and he's a true champion.
And you love to see it. It's a good sports success story.
That's
right?
it. So, like you said, the end of an era, and we can only enjoy him for as much as probably this year.
Right.
I got to think he would pack it in by next year.
Yep. But when you think about the women's side today,
Barty.
Ashley Barty is playing, and you don't see the Serena and you don't see the Venus Williams on the women's side, so that's changing too. But there's a lot of good young talent. So tennis is in pretty good shape moving forward.
I'm rooting for Barty. Barty, was the #1 seed, and she's Australian, and this would be a big win for her.
I'd rather have Anna Kournikova in the final.
I get it, but
For our
Yvonne Goolagong,
Cawley.
Right, but Australian. That's who you think of when you think of major women's past champions. So Barty, I'm rooting for. I don't see any reason why she probably won't pull it off.
And seeing Chris Everett and John McEnroe calling these, it's great to see because these were great players in their day too.
Sure. I mean, we grew up with that.
Yep.
And it's
Awesome.
Wimbledon.
Yep. And a men's final tomorrow, so I'm going with Djokovic.
I'm going with Djokovic.
Which I was corrected by, I think I called him Jokovic, and one of our fans, Mr. Garvey from Naples, corrected me.
Yeah,
So,
and what is it again?
it's Djokovic.
Oh, as in the Joker.
Exactly.
So
But I think the correct Serbian pronunciation is Jokovic.
okay.
Anyway,
let me
let's move on.
let me get this right. Joker. I got it.
All right.
Kidding,
All right.
Mike.
So let's move on. And our first segment sponsored by Coriano Trucking of Summerhill, New York. Regular supporter of the show, and we thank them again.
We always thank them.
So the NBA, how about the Phoenix Suns? I'll throw it over to you because they don't look like they could be beat.
No, I
think we both took them against the Bucks, but I didn't expect them to be here at the end of the
I
season.
took them against the Bucks. I'm not surprised about what's happening so far. They're up 2-0.
This kid Devin Booker's turning into some kind of a player,
Yeah,
isn't he?
we talked about Devin Booker probably a month ago.
We did.
Actually, when he came to the Garden and Phoenix played the Knicks, and we saw him up close and personal. This kid is pretty good.
And he wants to be really, really good.
Yeah,
So that's
I don't have a problem with Phoenix. Chris Paul has been playing great.
you can hand him the MVP right now.
Well, yeah,
you know.
but I won't be disappointed if Chris Paul, gets a ring. Chris Paul is. I don't know how to describe
been
him.
in the league for like 16 plus
Right,
years.
he's
too.
excellent.
Yeah.
He is really good, and the Bucks. Listen, they got to win Game 3. They don't win Game 3.
It's over.
Bye Birdie.
Right.
And Phoenix is Monty Williams is the coach.
Yeah.
And it'll be their first title in franchise history.
They had some pretty good teams when we were watching basketball regularly.
They
didn't
did.
With the Paul Westphal days.
Sure,
And,
and,
Barkley
yeah.
and all these guys.
They lost to the Celtics in the mid-'70s in the Classic Series. Barkley obviously has never gotten his ring, became pretty close. With
Call
the Suns.
Malone close, as you will.
Yeah, but I don't have a problem with Phoenix winning this.
Me either.
And I predicted that they would, once the final was established. And
But I don't think any of us thought they were going to be playing for the NBA championship and probably.
And I
winning
don't
it.
think this Giannis injury can be used as an excuse. The guy's playing.
And he's awesome.
He's had some good numbers in the series, but Phoenix
On
is just-
paper, you look at them, they match up. It's Giannis and Middleton, and that's it. And Holiday's had a good series, but listen, Phoenix looks really, really good.
Yeah.
Right, and you're right. It would be their first championship in their illustrious history. Not really.
No, they've been around a long time.
They had some good teams.
They have.
Yep. So let's move on. How about we give a shout out, and you were right on this all along with the Tampa Bay Lightning winning the NHL championship.
Right,
Stanley
so
Cup.
much that they gave Montreal a victory up north, and it's nice to see them win the title on their home ice.
Yes, it was.
And I mentioned this during the week. Nikita Kucherov, I saw in a post-game
We
press
love
conference.
him now, by the
Oh,
way.
we love him now. But he was shirtless in this, right? And when I tell you he looked like an average Joe, I mean, there was no muscle definition whatsoever.
Good beard, though. Good hockey playoff beard. you
But
know?
like no muscle definition in his arms or chest. It don't matter. This
Tough as nails.
Tough as nails, and it's just super talented.
Yep.
And he gave it to the Montreal crowd. Montreal obviously won the game, and he's like, "Oh, they acted like they won the Stanley Cup. Give me a break, will you?" That type of thing.
Yep.
And Vasilevsky, the goaltender, has been lights out for Tampa.
The shut number of victories in the Stanley Cup playoff.
And then to have a 1-0 shutout in Game 5.
And I'm glad that they won it this
awesome.
year, and they earned every bit of it. Because listen, I guess I'm a traditionalist. The shortened season last year was different, but they came back and showed that they were the team.
Oh, they validated that. Again, we talked about it during the pandemic of the four sports, of the champions, the hockey. I thought we thought was the most credible during the pandemic.
But still with an
But to
asterisk.
back it up again is great. And as I said earlier, I don't see any reason why they can't win 3. 4 is a stretch, but they're not losing really anybody. Now, Seattle, the Kraken will have this
inaugural season.
Well, they're going to have the expansion draft. I think it's on the 21st. But Tampa's, going to, protect, the top guys.
The core guys.
And, again, the core guys are there. And don't be surprised if Tampa wins 3 in a row.
But it
or
was
at least
awesome.
be there.
And how about, Pat Maroon, the 3 Stanley Cups in a row?
Right. Pat Maroon, a hometown St. Louis Blue, won the title with them. And now he's got 2 in a row, and couldn't be happier for him. That's a true hockey player type of guy that we
and it's the only player to win 3 Stanley Cups since members of the Islanders, obviously.
Could be,
And that was Bossy, Trottier, and Gillies, those guys.
Yeah.
But it was awesome, and I like John Cooper a lot. And you're right; I don't see any reason why they can't repeat next year.
And as Rangers,
but they're not. They're actually, and you're the betting guru of this show.
Yeah, the Avalanche Vegas, the Avalanche and the Vegas Knights have been tabbed as 1-2.
And you were actually, we were a big buyer of the Colorado Avalanche, when the playoffs started. But they're the favorites going into next year, not the defending Stanley Cup champions.
I was gonna say it doesn't mean
who drives that. DraftKings makes that call.
No, Vegas makes the call. Vegas makes the call.
Vegas,
William Hill,
same thing.
William Hill.
Yeah.
But listen, Colorado is disappointed majorly the past 3 years.
Yep.
They have been favorites. And don't
not
get
any
me,
more than the Maple Leafs, though. I mean,
Yeah.
the Maple Leafs had high aspirations.
Colorado has some studs on this team, so they they know what they have ahead of them.
Yep.
I mean, they've been a major disappointment, and we shall see how what,
and listen,
what they do next
Sports
year.
with Mono and Mono loves hockey. Playoff hockey didn't disappoint. It was great, but congratulations to the Lightning.
Right, and I was just going to finish with the Lightning. Ryan McDonough, as Ranger fans,
Yep.
we got him from the Montreal Canadiens.
Couldn't be happier for somebody like that.
For
right?
a bag of balls, and it was a great Ranger for his tenure, and
Bag of pucks.
very very happy that Ryan McDonough's got 2 titles, and
You bet.
good for him.
You bet. So let's move on to Major League Baseball, right? Where we're at the midsummer break, right? All-Star game
the
coming up.
Midsummer Classic
Not
should
without
be
its
coming up.
controversy about guys opting out. Jacob deGrom, best pitcher in
Makes
baseball.
sense.
Okay, for him it does.
But for him it does.
But for baseball fans, it's kind of disappointing. You'd like to see him. We get to see him every time he pitches on the East Coast, so, and I watch it every single time he pitches because he's having a Bob Gibson-like season.
It makes sense.
How about Showtime? You can't deny this. He hit a home run last night, Mickey Mantle-like. It was awesome. 33 home runs going into the break. He'll give us an inning or a couple of batters in the All-Star game, but it's kind of cool, right? First All-Star game, pitcher and hitter. How about it?
We talked about him last week.
Yeah, we like him.
He's special.
Yep. But when you think about it, look what's going on. The Mets are starting to kick it into gear. They're gonna walk away with the National League East title.
It's still very early for me to say that.
But they have to win the title because the West Coast teams are going to get, the West Coast champion and 2 wild cards will come out of that, right? Dodgers, Padres,
Yeah, I'm not knocking.
Giants.
I'm not knocking the Mets, but every team in the division is below 500.
I know, but they're starting to win games like they used to do in '86, kind of thing. I watched it the other night, and again, like James Wallace, our listener, pointed out, starting a runner at second base in extra innings drives me to drink. It really does. It drives me crazy. But they pulled out, Peraza comes up and hits a pinch hit home run to tie it, and Jeff McNeil wins it. That's where they're going.
Listen, the
and
man.
Lindor's starting to heat up, I guess, too, right?
Oh yeah, he's up to what, 230?
Exactly, which is acceptable in baseball nowadays.
No, not for him.
Not for $35 million a
No,
year. I
no,
got you.
No.
But how about the Yankees? They limp into the break, right? Kind of limp. Brett Gardner was up last night, and you know what I said there? I go, when is enough enough? When are they going to start saying he's hitting 188? It's over. Boom! He gets a base hit. Drives in 2 runs. They beat the Astros 4-0 last night.
Right.
It was just Judge is having a great year. Stanton's numbers aren't bad. He still can't hit the slider at 3 feet outside the zone, and you're right. Listen, I'm gonna, for full disclosure, give Steve a chance to put me on the roster here with Derek Cole. Ever since he can't use Spider Tack, he's been getting rocked. I thought you were going to bring that up before I even started the monologue today.
Well,
I told you so,
no.
of thing.
I mean, Garrett Cole's got a big start today. He's facing Zach Greinke, and
he's gotten roughed up pretty
well,
bad.
the numbers are not lying.
Right.
Okay. And it's not like Garrett Cole is turned into Eddie Lee Whitson or Andy Hawkins or something.
Good reference.
Right? But I'm curious to see
Dale
today.
Murray.
I want to see today.
Yep.
Okay? Beat Zach Greinke. And
Greinke. All of a sudden, he's some.
And now I'm hearing talk that, it's affecting Chapman. Right? So Chapman
Who's been getting rocked
has
as
had
well,
an god-awful week.
Yeah.
And now there's word on the street that, Spider Tack was pretty prominent in his ability to grip the baseball and fire it.
At 102 miles
Well, an
an
extra
hour.
3-4 miles an hour. He's throwing his hardest pitch in the last week's 97 miles an hour.
Yep.
Not 102, not 101.
Yep.
Okay? And then, the other Spider Tack guy is still the continuing disturbing story of Trevor Bauer.
Horrifying.
Major League Baseball, to their credit, added another 7 days of quote-unquote administrative leave.
And we talked about
so
this.
they can investigate this.
This could be career over for this guy. I mean, it's that bad. It's that bad.
We have to follow the investigation.
Yep.
But, yeah, it's not a good look,
No.
man. It's not a good look at all.
So if Dodgers lose him, Kershaw's now got some elbow issues, but he's a warrior. We know.
Yeah,
he comes to
but they
play.
got Walker Buehler. He's like 8-1 with a 2.32.
Bueller.
They got
Bueller.
Oh, totally.
Anyone? Bueller.
Right. But they got good pitching still.
Yep.
And the Dodgers are the Dodgers.
All right, Steve. I'm going to throw the looming question of the day: who's going to win the home run derbies? Pete Alonso, the polar bear, going to defend his title, or Joey Gallo sneak up and miss him? And I didn't say Callow. I said Jerry Gallo.
Oh.
Oh no, that's Jerry Gallo.
Mr. Gambini. Mr. Gambini.
You were serious about that?
I'm going with Ohtani.
I'm going with the polar bear to defend his
And I'm
title.
also going to say the numbers are going to be so pathetically ridiculous.
Oh, there'll be a home run every pitch.
I mean the distance.
Exactly, but the air in Colorado, the whole
Right.
nine yards.
It's going to be Bugs Bunny.
I'm going with the polar bear to defend his title.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
I'm going Ohtani.
Yep. So listen, let's move on to the NFL. Next, nothing really going on in the NFL. I don't want to talk about Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to talk about the Cowboys on Hard Knocks.
I do.
It's basketball. It's baseball. It's golf season. British.
I want
Open
to talk
coming up.
about the Cowboys on Hard Knocks.
Go ahead.
Third time.
Can't wait.
What I can't wait is
So this will be the 30th year in a row I haven't watched 1 second of Hard Knocks.
Ah, well, good for you. I enjoy it. And as a Cowboy fan, everybody should know by now, I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm happy about
I think they know.
I'm happy about it because I can now get an inside view
Of what their 7 and 10 season is going to be.
Of Mike McCarthy. To me, okay? So I can see for myself now,
But this camera's
if this is
rolling.
ridiculous, him being the coach, or am I going to buy into, the changes that have been made? Of course, I've seen the act with Jerry at the end of training camp talking to a player. Well, you're a great young man, and this was probably the hardest decision that we've
Ever had
ever
to make.
had to make. What I'm going to do for you, son, is I'm going to call all 32 other owners in the league, okay? And that don't mean that the door is closed here, son. That kind of nonsense.
I can't.
However,
I won't watch 2 seconds.
back
of
to
it.
the point, I'm curious. I want an inside glimpse into how Mike McCarthy coaches. So I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, look, he's got a ring. When you get a ring, you get a pass. But, I don't know how long he's going to last if they start off on the wrong foot. But Dak's back, and he gives us the best chance to win, which is why we signed him
Right.
to a long-term deal.
It's five episodes, and I literally I've watched them all because I like the behind the scenes stuff.
It's like the Kardashians,
Well.
I don't get it, but anyway, so let's move on. And if you got a question or you're a Cowboy fan out there, you got a big supporter here in my brother Steve. Send us an email at sports.
Right. So as
with
far as
Mono
the
and
NFL,
Mono.
back to the original thing, what's going on? No, it's really 2 weeks of non-activity till training camp starts.
Exactly.
So
That's why I
all.
said let's move
It's
on.
fun.
Let's move on. Big soccer game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? The Euro 2020, not 2021. They kept the name due to the cancellation of the previous year. Italy, England.
Yeah.
Who do you like?
I'm going Italy.
I'm going Italy too, actually. I mean, I like England, and they're petitioning that if they win, they want it to be a national holiday, of course.
I got more Italian friends than English friends.
And again, our soccer expert Diego Cruz. He's congratulations to him for his Copa victory. Colombia won 3-2 yesterday. Unbelievable save in soccer. It was actually
Colombia won 3-2.
Yeah.
Isn't the final Argentina versus Brazil?
It was the third place game, actually.
Ah, okay.
But it's still pretty big for
Oh.
Colombia. Right?
But really, there's 2 huge soccer games this weekend.
Right, but the one thing, and I brought this up to our resident soccer expert, that these taking dives and laying down, rolling around, it's ruining the game. It's a great game, and these guys are unbelievable athletes. But, you get tripped up. We used to, play sliding bases in the street, and we never rolled around. It drives me crazy, but I'm going with Italy tomorrow. And probably the only guy I could name in the whole series, Harry Kane. I know
Harry
he's big.
Kane.
Hello, Harry.
Whoa, Harry.
Scored the winning goal that pushed him into the final. But that's a big thing.
All right.
Worldwide, it's
Yeah.
on. 3 o'clock tomorrow.
8 o'clock. No, 3 o'clock on Sunday.
On
I think it is.
Sunday, I believe. Right.
And 8 o'clock at night is Argentina versus Brazil. Messi looking for his first big title. I'm going to go with Brazil. Messi has, I've said how great this guy is. And Argentina
I think
it
he
hasn't won the big game yet.
I think Messi goes out on a carrying him on his shoulders.
I
seals the legend.
I swear to God, I hope that is the case.
Bicycle kick,
Good.
12 feet from the goal would be great.
I'm hoping for
Yep.
it. But I got it. The little research I've done, I think Brazil is probably the better team.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm going to go with Brazil.
But the
against
big
Argentina.
game is England-Italy. That's the big thing. That's the big game. The big match. And listen, we go down and we're talking about we call these mono points. Just, not specific to a sport. This comes up. The celebrity golf match. What'd you think of that? I'm sure you wasted 3 hours of your life watching Phil Mickelson, DeChambeau, Brady, and Rogers play golf.
I didn't watch.
1 second.
I didn't waste 3 seconds of my life.
That's from the who cares category for me.
Correct.
Great thing. It raises money
Money.
for charity.
That's it.
Just write a check. I don't need to see it on
I had
TV.
zero interest in it, to be honest.
Exactly. But apparently the ratings were pretty good.
And the 3 out of the 4 guys, obviously, are I'm huge fans of. You guys can infer who the 4th one is. That means good one in French.
Not a big thing, right? But listen, while we're talking about golf, this was kind of a shocking thing. We brought it up a couple weeks ago, but it actually came, to be reality. Miguel Cabrera, former Masters champion, 2 years in jail.
Angel Cabrera.
Right. Oh yeah, right. I'm sorry. How
It's-
about that
it's
though?
about-
That's disturbing. This is Trevor Bauer
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
about
thing.
it's about time Interpol caught up with him.
Wow.
He came to the States. He was here. He was there.
But how about the system of justice over there, boy? They catch you, they charge you, and then you go to jail the next day.
He
That's
deserves
pretty
to go to jail.
swift justice, as
Yeah,
they call
so-
it. Disturbing though. He's a Masters champion.
Oh,
It
he's-
drives me crazy to think.
Sure, he's an abuser of women and deserves to be in jail.
Exactly, unacceptable. Masters, green jacket or not, it's just
Yeah.
horrifying.
Right, I'm just glad they finally, caught up to him, and he's going to jail. What else are we going to say?
Yep.
He's getting his justice.
Yep. So from the also, who gives a crap? Tonight's the big fight, the UFC 264, Conor McGregor Poirier rematch. Who do you like?
I just went into a store before the show. There's a kid actually that knows about.
It's kind of funny. You got to admit this is funny.
There's a kid that knows about our podcast and enjoys listening to it, and he knows, we're about to do it, and we're doing it now. And he flat out asked, he said,
Who do you like tonight?
Are you going to bring up the fight tonight? And I said, as far as I'm concerned, no. I said, I could care less one way or the other on this. And then I threw it back at him. I said, hypothetically, if you were
a betting man.
who would you take? And he said Poirier. And I said, okay. I said, you know what? I'll throw that out there when and if it comes up. But this Conor McGregor, I am so... I dislike this guy beyond words.
But I wouldn't cross him,
I
wouldn't cut in front of him online.
All I
on
know is
CBS.
Poirier. I want him to win 2 out of 3 and shut this guy up.
Right, but he demolished this guy one time, too. So it can go either way.
I'm not watching it.
And I'm not paying to watch it.
I'll wake up tomorrow and find out who won.
Right. Let's guess there's going to be blood and unsustained violence, which I abhor. I absolutely abhor this thing. But, hey, listen, we have a fan out there that listens to the show, and we brought it up because, listen, right, wrong, or indifferent, it generates a ton of money.
It does. It does.
But seeing him talk in that little brogue accent, it's so funny, though. It's funny.
Oh, my God.
I mean, he's no bigger than a 25-ounce Budweiser can.
That's right.
Right?
But-
But disturbed beyond belief.
I was looking past Poirier last fight.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, shut up.
So I saw the interview with him and Stephen A. Smith. He says they're going to have to carry this guy out in a casket. And I was laughing. That you gotta really shoot some arrows to take a guy like Poirier down, But again, from a full disclosure perspective, I don't watch this UFC. It's big, and some of our fans, I'm sure they do listen.
Exactly.
To it.
And again, I want my point clear. The UFC, I give credit, right? When boxing started going into the tube, this guy Dana White, right?
He was an opportunist. He was a Vince McMahon.
He put it together, and it's now a mainstream money-making bonanza.
Right,
It
but-
really is. So
but
I'm just
advocating-
acknowledging it. That's all.
I get
It's
it.
not for me, but
it's not for me. It's just brutal violence. This is the old Roman days. It's bizarre. Boxing, we got, and we're historians in boxing. We get it. We loved it.
there was a little.
This is over the top for me. It's just too violent.
I was a little disappointed in the news that Tyson Fury tested positive for COVID.
I wanted to bring that up
and,
too.
And the trilogy has been postponed. It's going to happen, and I'm all in on this Fury guy now. I swear to God.
He looks like Butterbean to
don't
me,
know.
though. Come
Are you
on.
kidding?
Have you ever seen a more out of shape heavyweight champion? You know,
This guy Fury is.
Oh, he could bend metal bars. I get it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. He doesn't have that George Foreman, Ken Norton, Joe Frazier body.
He's got a Jerry Quarry body.
Hey, listen, Jerry Quarry was in pretty good shape compared to Tyson Fury.
What a punching bag Jerry Quarry was.
All right. So anyway, this big battle, that was the other thing I wanted to bring up. It's been postponed until October.
Right.
Tyson Fury. We're not putting him in Ali. Frazier's
Did I
status,
say
are
that?
we?
I didn't say that.
No, I'm saying public opinion has this guy. He's going to win. He's going to demolish this guy. He's unbeatable. I'll give you that. He's unbeatable in today's game, if you will.
We shall see.
Right. But there's another topic I wanted to bring up because you and I talked about it. Actually, your monologue from last week was this name, image, likeness thing in the in college sports.
Yeah.
And it's taken off.
Oh,
I mean, you saw this whole thing.
I knew it was going to.
And one of your dear friends, Miami Mitch.
Yeah.
Right? I wonder what his thoughts are on this. I'd love to hear him. But some company came in and we talked about it.
Like a gym in Miami has decided that they're going to pay $560,000, divided by whatever.
$500 a month to each one of the scholarship players was the deal.
Right, which is just the beginning of this, okay? So if you remember the story, God, it's less than 10 years ago, but the Hurricane football program's always been under the spotlight. But the Shapiro, is his name Nigel Shapiro or something?
Yeah.
Would take the players out on party boats and all this other stuff, and beep bop boop bop beep bop. So it's going to be, you can take them out on a party boat now and do the exact same thing, and they can get paid.
Right.
Right.
And we're good with it. We said we're okay.
But the point was, at the time, there was talk of the death penalty for Miami, right? And SMU is the only death penalty team
because
they
didn't generate the money for the NCAA like Miami did. So it was okay to sacrifice. They were a sacrificial lamb.
I understand that. My only point is now we're talking death penalty
right.
for a program 10 years ago to which
broke every rule in the book.
Where common sense has now finally prevailed, where the kids are, and again, let's not forget about the big pie here. How much money is generated from college football or basketball, whatever. So it's about time that the players on the field get some of this money.
Exactly.
Okay?
And I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it now, too.
And listen, the first guy we interviewed on our show was Luke Whippler, who's going to be the starting center for the Ohio State Buckeyes. How much money did they generate? Congratulations to him. I'll pay $50 for Luke's autograph,
Right. So I'm also not going to be naive to think there's not going to be hiccups here.
Of course there are.
And then that programs are going to...
Corruption will find its way into
this. We don't know
this.
to the level yet because it's still new.
But it's going to happen.
Like anything else, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And there'll be some programs that are going to,
And we'll keep you guys posted on it because it's a topic Steve and I have been talking about for 30 years. It's great to send us an email at sportswithmonoandmono@gmail.com with your thoughts on this NIL phenomenon, which is rolling through college athletics.
And again, it's important to know, governors of states, and eventually it's going to be all 50.
All of them.
That laws are being established legislatively for the name, image likeness thing, right? So this is real stuff, and it's happening.
Yep. So listen, that segment was sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut, who is, again, like Coriana Trucking, a loyal supporter of our show, and we thank them and hope all is well in their world.
Thank you, Mike.
So, Steve, we're going to move into our notable passing segment, which is, what we
a little busier this week than last week.
It was. And we had kind of a good respite for a few weeks. Right?
Yeah.
Here's my first one. Terry Donahue, former UCLA head football coach.
Sure.
Handsome man, kind of a Pat Boone. Used to wear the UCLA sweaters.
That's a good reference. Well, Pat Boone,
77 years old, but I looked at his resume. Only guy to play in a Rose Bowl assistant coach in a Rose Bowl and head coach in a Rose Bowl. How about that?
Yeah, Terry Donahue was a walk-on at UCLA, played defensive tackle.
Yeah.
He's the all-time winningest coach at UCLA.
He is.
He coached icons like Troy Aikman, Kenny Easley, guys like that.
He did.
He was his record at UCLA was outstanding.
Yep.
And became
GM of the San Francisco
for a
49ers.
few years, but.
Handpicked by Bill Walsh, by the
Right,
way, actually.
but Terry Donahue, I saw that he passed away. I think he was 77.
He was.
I was always a big fan of him, and I was sad to hear that he passed.
Yeah, and we watched every Rose Bowl he
Every
ever
Rose Bowl.
coached, right?
Yeah, and every UCLA, USC game,
Exactly.
et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, he coached like Rick Neuheisel, guys like that.
Who went on to become one of his ultimate successors, kind
Yeah,
of thing, right?
Right.
Good guy, though. We
yeah.
liked him,
No,
actually.
Terry Donahue was a true football.
After he left UCLA, went into the booth for CBS and called games. Very,
and he was an assistant under Dick Vermeil, actually.
He
at
was.
UCLA.
He was. Yep.
Yeah.
Terry Donahue, 77.
Yep.
How about this one? Dickie Magel.
Dickie Magel.
Our fans are scratching their heads going, I'm not familiar with that, but you will be, right? Steve, you could bring it up because it was very prominent. It was, from a college football history perspective, one of the most controversial plays of all time.
It's just so fun.
This guy was 86 years old, but
1954 Cotton Bowl.
Rice versus Alabama.
Versus the Crimson Tide of Alabama.
Right.
Dickie Magel.
Running down the field.
Right, gets the ball and
on the 5, so it would have been a 95.
To the 20, to the 30, to the 40. But there, you have to look up Dickie Magel, and there's an iconic photograph of the Alabama player who sees him about
coming at him.
But it's a still photo, which it makes it even better. Is this guy knows 5 yard, Magel's coming.
If he doesn't stop him,
he's
nobody
5 yards
will.
away, and you could see this guy in the still photo. You know he's going to jump that sideline. And what does he do? He jumps the sideline. Dickie Magel is awarded a 95-yard touchdown, right? And the Alabama player, I think his name was Tommy Williams, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Tommy Williams.
I can't confirm.
So, Magel's an All-American at Rice, etc. But there's another photo that follows of those two shaking hands after the game.
Right.
And the Alabama coach had dragged this guy, right? You will be shaking his hand, young man, right? And there's a photo of it. But it's the most iconic
Classic college
football photo. Dickie Magel went on. He got drafted and played 7 years, and actually he's an
inaugural Dallas Cowboy,
right? 1960-61, and he was a legend in Texas and played at Rice.
Yeah.
And Dickie Magel passed away this week.
86 years old.
86 years old.
That's great, though. Iconic is exactly the way you would describe it.
You want to look
picture.
up, and it's Maegle. But you have to look up.
There was some
that
sort of controversy,
picture.
like he changed the spelling of his name or something after.
It used to be Moe, but he changed the name, the spelling, to match the pronunciation.
Right.
So it used to be Moe, and everybody would call him Mogul, as opposed to Magel.
So he was a big stud at Rice, right?
Yes,
the
he
Rice
was.
Owls,
The
I
Rice
believe.
Owls.
Name one other guy that was prominent at Rice. I could say Tommy Kramer, right?
Well, I knew you were going to say Tommy Kramer.
Well, I'm just asking if I don't know anybody else. I could put in the Dickie Magel mode, right? But Tommy Kramer was a stud at Rice.
Right.
He was great.
Can I say there's many prominent Rice football players?
Besides Tommy Kramer?
It's been a while.
I got it. But listen, let's talk about Matisse Kurlankis. It's hard to pronounce the last name. I'll give you that. But 24-year-old goaltender.
Yeah.
Shocking,
No,
right?
God,
I mean,
it's awful.
horrifying.
Horrifying. Awful.
July 4th.
Everybody that
fireworks.
knows me, right, and even for the audience, when it comes to fireworks, I walk the other way.
Me too.
I want nothing to do with them.
Yep.
Right? Are they
Except
beautiful?
watch 'em,
Are they
you know.
beautiful in the sky? Yeah. But when we grew up, there'd be like knuckleheads that would have M80s and all this stuff and hold them in their hands and light them.
I've had firecrackers go off in my hands. It doesn't feel good.
It's never going to happen to me. However, what could happen to me is what happened to this kid.
24 years old.
Is you're sitting in a hot tub, okay, and
you seem pretty content, right? Things will be all right. I'll get up tomorrow.
And it's going on nearby, okay. Oh my God! And a misfire happens, and this thing comes in your direction,
tragic.
And hits you right in the chest, and just traumatizes you and kills you.
And you know what I thought about?
I feel awful for that story.
Yeah.
And it happened at the goaltender coach Manny Legacy's house.
Daughter's wedding.
His daughter got married that day, so that it makes sense to celebrating with fireworks. At the end of the night.
Tragic.
But you talk about a tragedy here. The kid's 24 years old, and by all accounts, really a good kid. And I was sickened by this story.
It was, and you know what? It immediately brought me back to when. From a goaltender NHL perspective, Pelle Lindbergh, right, just took the team to the Stanley Cup Finals, and then he dies in a car accident.
Right, in a Porsche, driving a Porsche. And, 1980 or something.
Of course,
like that.
unfortunately,
It's been a long time, Pelle Lindbergh. Now that I think about it,
it was like 1983 or
something. I didn't want to say 80.
Yeah,
something like that.
But that's immediately what I thought of. Oh, goaltender. Unfortunately, sports athletes aren't immune to this, right? The Thurman Munson, we can bring it up all day, But this was an up-and-coming kid, great kid, and sorry to hear about that, and big loss for the NHL.
Yeah.
One last guy, Steve, and you brought this up. I actually didn't see it. Wasn't publicized. Tom Rich.
Yes.
Sports agent.
Yes.
82.
82
And when
years.
we talk sports agent, this guy was a pioneer, right?
He was one of the first guys
to scoop up guys for free agency.
After the Marvin Miller and, after the Andy Messersmith.
Kurt Flood will open the door.
Right, but Tom Rich was more like latter 70s, early 80s, and so on and so forth. But Tom Rich, guys like him and Jerry Kapstein.
Dick Moss.
Yeah, Dick Moss. They were the top three guys for that era.
They swooped in and
they swooped in, and Tom Rich was well respected, by the way.
He was.
And, he had...
82 years old, by the way.
Right, and it was kind of funny that John Candelaria was one of his first clients.
Doc Ellis, too.
Right? Oh, excuse me, you're right. Doc Ellis. Doc Ellis was making $13,000 that year, right? So that was his first client. They became agent for like Manny Sanguian and some other Pirates. But ultimately, he was the agent when George Foster signed with the Mets.
First time a guy made $2 million or more a year as a free agent.
But at the time, that was like
staggering numbers.
Right. This was Gerrit Cole, $300+ million. Right, but Tom Rich,
even Reggie Jackson's contract wasn't that huge. Right?
But Tom Rich was a well-respected agent and had many
in a dirty, sleazy business.
Right, and many prominent clients, and he passed away at 82. But again, I just want to say,
and they passed the torch to guys like Lee Steinberg and who was the guy that got in trouble.
Lee Steinberg.
Was it Lee? No, that was another guy, though. But anyway, Tom Rich, 82.
Yeah.
And you're right. Good call. Jerry Kapstein.
Yeah.
He's the other guy.
Yeah.
Big time.
And from an entertainment standpoint this week, Michael Avenatti is going to
I should have brought that up in the mono point.
Prominent lawyer. Well-respected lawyer.
Prominent ex-lawyer.
Right. Stormy Daniels' attorney.
Yeah. Don't get mixed up with porn stars.
Yeah, but if you talk about, I laugh to myself, and the good news is there's still 3 more trials to go.
Exactly.
So the 2 years that he just got sentenced
he
to,
thinks that's it. It's not.
Oh my God! I want him at least 30 years in the can.
And of course,
in the cooler.
But what's so funny, after you get caught and you're going to the can, blubbering to the judge. I'm sorry for what I did. You're right. Funny. I have no sympathy for
None.
this guy at all.
Oh God, I was so thrilled with that news.
And exactly, he's not getting a Cosby free pass out.
Oh, no.
He's going to do time.
Oh,
And they're going to add to it.
oh, and boy, is he gonna.
Yeah, I should have brought that up in the mono points.
He's going to be very popular
Yep.
amongst the
Yep.
the current crowd there. If
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Listen, we cover the gamut on this show, so please send us an email at sportswithmonoandmono@gmail.com and, enjoy the sports that's going to happen the rest of the weekend and good stuff.
Yeah, but
Good
I got to
stuff.
say that Michael Avenatti really made my week.
That was pretty funny. Agreed. Love it.
Sports, again, send us an email, sportswithmonoandmono@gmail.com. Love to hear from you, and,
We're going to start expanding our show and get a broader audience.
we're in talks. We're in talks with. We'll let the.
We're not
audience
at
know.
liberty to discuss.
We're
right
not.
now,
We're
but,
not. We don't have Tom Rich anymore. Tom passed away, but hopefully some news will happen soon, and we'll let you know about it. But
You can reach us here at YouTube and SoundCloud like every other week. So
you bet.
enjoy your weekend, and we'll look forward to catching up with you guys next week.
You got it. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks
Hope
for
all
listening.
is well, Tony. Be good.
Hey, Tony.
Bye.